Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
But yeah, he has not retired yet.
Fascinating story. So let's go ahead to this flex position, and it is a guy that I see at least 3 or 4 comments about, and that is DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, you went D-Hop.
I did go D-Hop, and here's why. Yes, he's had the injury concerns, and yes, he is going to miss the first 6 games of the season. But still, if I'm putting this team together, and I want, this is a passing league. I've mentioned on this show before just how important it is to have just an amazing passing attack. I want DeAndre Hopkins, when healthy and when not suspended, still a top 10 wide receiver in the entire NFL. So he finished 6th or better in receiving grade in 5 of the 6 seasons between 2015 and 2020. Since joining Arizona in 2020, his 1.8% drop rate is second best in the NFL. This is a guy that if he is healthy and if he is in the lineup, I'll take 6 games suspended, especially if he's my number 4 wide receiver. And I didn't see enough players that I could justifiably, and I'd love to hear your thoughts here, John, put ahead of DeAndre Hopkins here on my All-Pro NFC West roster.
Okay, so here's my order, okay? I had 3 D-Hop. I took him out because of the 6-game suspension. But whenever he's healthy, as you said, he channels that whole offense. Whenever he got taken out of the game, Arizona just freaking was trash.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Side note, I'm really interested to see how they play at the beginning of the year. I also mentioned on this show previously that they are such a first-half team, but they're also such a team that is just dreadful without Hopkins. Now, Hopkins isn't in the first half. I'm fascinated as an NFL fan what that's going to look like.
I'm just excited the 49ers have him week 18.
Yes.
That's what I'm excited about.
There you go.
So I had for my flex spot, I had D-Hop 3, I had Allen Robinson 2, and I had Kyle Juszczyk number 1, man. Got to give it up to the Juice. I love what he can do. I could just see it in my head. Again, now it's a projection. Kyle Juszczyk's notorious for running that wheel route and leaking out of the backfield up the sidelines, and Jimmy G could never hit him. Never could hit him. Now you got somebody that can throw the deep ball. I'm telling you, Juszczyk's going to hit a couple touchdowns this year.
I like Juice. He's another one of those guys that, like, I think fans across the league, you just like Kyle Juszczyk. He's just one of those guys that is a grinder. He's smart. He's athletic. He's there to do whatever the team needs of him.
Exactly.
And I do think having a quarterback like Trey Lance is only going to benefit him. I like Juice, but I can't put him over D-Hop.
That's fair.
Yeah.
For me, the suspension was the kicker because if the suspension wasn't there, I would have had Hopkins above DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
it would have been Kupp, Debo.
Metcalf would have been my flex if Hopkins was healthy and starting week 1. Agreed there.
So, there's nothing wrong. Now, here's, I totaled all of our first team votes. I had 4 for the 49ers. You had 3. We both had 4 for the Rams. I only had 1 for the Cardinals. You're a Cardinals homer, Brian. Did you know that? You have 4 Cardinals on this list, my friend. And then Seahawks, I had 3. Maybe I'm a closet Seahawks guy.
I was gonna say who's the Seahawks over here? At least the Cardinals made the playoffs last year.
Both guards were trash, man. Yeah. And so I think that's the difference is you gave both guards to Arizona. I gave both.
Well, I gave one to LA. I had Edwards in the Rams.
That's correct. Yeah, you put Rodney Hudson at center.
Hudson was at center. Yes,
that's right. And so I had 3 Seahawks. You had 1. Now, just sticking with this, my second team nominations, the 49ers had the most with 4, Rams 3, Cardinals 4, and then Seahawks 1. So if we're totaling, if we just look at and we totaled both of our first team and second team scores, all right, so we've got the 49ers with 11, you've got the Rams with 11, you've got the Cardinals with 9, and you've got the Seahawks with 5. And I think that kind of tells
pretty much lines up with what when we made predictions for the NFC West, when we did record predictions on this show. That's pretty much exactly what we had. Yeah. We had the Rams and Niners kind of battling for first. We had the Cardinals kind of on the fringe, and then the Seahawks way behind.
And it's a thing of depth and stars. Yeah. And the problem with the Seahawks is they don't have stars. They have singular star and no depth.
Right.
And so it's interesting. Then you look at the Cardinals. Cardinals had a lot more depth than I thought. But again, they cleaned up those crappy positions like the center guard, which are just not good. But they kind of dominated that. I don't know. This is interesting. Was there a team that after you finished this, you're kind of surprised you, good or bad?
No, because I don't question the talent level on Arizona. The reason I picked them to finish the way they did is because I'm not a Kingsbury fan. I have not been. I think that the way this team comes out hot and doesn't make the proper adjustments, and just once teams figure out what they're trying to do, they shut them down. And which is 3 years in a row, they fall off a cliff. So I think that is why I'm down on Arizona, maybe, even though they started off as they were the number 1 seed in the NFC for a good portion of last year. It's not a talent thing. I picked James Conner as my running back. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is my flex. If he's healthy and in there in the lineup, he's still one of the best receivers in the NFL. Rodney Hudson was my center. Kyler Murray has the talent to be a top 7 or 8 quarterback. It's just something about the way this team comes together that I just don't buy into. And I think it's because, and maybe it's recency bias. I mean, they keep just flailing, but to me, that tells a story. If you've done this year in and year out with the head coach where you just cannot finish strong and you just crumble, like this is a 17-game season. You need to have your team ready to play every week for the entire year. And Arizona has shown that they have not been able to do that lately.
Yeah, I like